Hi guys, Nick from Dieselheat here. Just a quick video for you today to talk about how we set up the connector from the Packer wiring loom onto the fuel pump. They're a little bit fiddly, and so I thought I'd make this video just to show you how it's done. So if you buy a diesel hot water system from us, you're going to get your install kit in a box like this, and we will have made a few changes to the wiring loom. But also if you've just got a general kit, the wiring loom is going to look the same at the point where you're going to join on the fuel pump. So in this bag here, which again, if you buy it from us, will be stapled to the loom. If you don't get it from us, or it's not a pre-prepared kit from us, this will just be in the install kit. In this little bag, which contains these little plastic fittings, is the little connector which goes onto the back of the fuel pump. And so what we need to do is to fit this connector onto the wires that provide the power for the fuel pump. So the reason why Packer don't put this on in the factory is so that you can drill a small hole and thread this cable through to the point where you're going to then have the fuel pump. So they make it nice and easy to thread the cable through a small hole, but then you need to put the connector on. So when you're fitting this connector, there's a couple of things to look at. The first one is the little silver plugs have like a low spot here, which I'm going to call the low spot. So it's basically like the back of the connector between the actual bit that holds the pin in the cable, that low spot there. And then the other thing to look at is the little plug itself has a locking tab. So this locking tab, which eventually we're going to push in, is designed to lock the little silver connectors into the plastic plug. So when you're putting these connectors into this plastic plug, it's really important that the low spot faces the locking tab. So I'm going to put it in with the low spot facing up and push it in that way. And it's important that you push it all the way in, and you'll actually hear a little faint click as it goes in. If you don't hear a click or it doesn't go all the way in, it's not going to work. So for example, if you end up with it looking like that with this little insulator sticking out the back, that's not all the way in, and that's not going to work when you put it on the pump. So we pop him in and I hear a little click. Once the two wires are in and you see they go all the way in, and you really can hardly even see that little rubber seal, then you push down on the locking tab and that snaps in place, and that permanently fixes those two silver connectors into this plug. The last thing to remember is then when you fit the plug onto the pump, that is not on and that won't make contact, and you're going to have a fault code that the pump's not connected. You've got to push it in and hear it snap into place, and that will then make a good waterproof electrical connection onto your pump, and you should have no dramas with it at all. Alright, so that is how you fit up those connectors for the Packer D5E fuel pump. Cheers.